Welcome to another episode of Morning Coffee with me, Professor Alex. Now, I've been gone for about a week. I haven't really filmed anything. I had a sinus infection, still getting over it. You can probably hear how nasal like my voice sounds. I might even have to have a coughing fit and cut and edit a part of it, which is something I've never done before. I'll figure out how to do that. Good news is I have my summer robe out because the rest is not going to be so much good news. Well, let me start with the good news first. Shout out to Cory Booker yesterday for breaking the filibuster record of Strom Thurmond. Strom Thurmond was filibustering against the Civil Rights Act. He was a racial segregationist. There's a little bit of irony and karma there. It's good to see someone like Cory Booker be the one that break that record. So I mention that because it's kind of like the highs. I saw the last hour or so of doing that, uh, full of energy. That vibrant energy, ready to go, move forward. He got emotional several times, but then now all of a sudden comes the low, and the low is Liberation Day. hmm George Orwell would be definitely proud. Your Liberation Day, Trump is supposedly going to do an event at the Rose Garden. Kind of reminds me of his first term in office when he did an event with the Rose Garden. And he literally said, we overthrew, got rid of Obamacare. And I was like, how did they do this? What I was so confused because, like, how was this even possible legally? You had all these Republicans that were there. They were all celebrating. It looked like a frat party of old white guys. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And then I had to start researching and realize I think all they got was enough votes, so the procedural issue of being able to move forward. Obviously, they haven't gotten rid of the Affordable Health Care Act, but that's what he was saying. It's all show. We know that's what it's like when it comes to Trump. You look at Christy Noem at the prison in El Salvador with her $60,000 watch. I keep calling it the Instagram tour because that's exactly what it looks like. She's looking more like an influencer, showing up at all these raids, with her bulletproof vest. Just tell me how many shootouts have there been with picking up undocumented immigrants at all these locations? Just how many? Mhm. Yeah, exactly. None. So great for TV, not great for reality, not great for life. The United States has now made the list of places not to visit, places that are not safe. I know people in Miami that are leaving. I know people in Miami who have left. I know people that are going to other parts of the world, going to Canada, going to Latin American countries to get away from all this. And some of these people are actually citizens. Think about that. So it is what it is. This is what you people voted for. We deal with the consequences. But now let's talk about Liberation Day. As I've joked, because, as my mom would say, what do you want me to do? You want me to cry? Those are the two options, right? So with this double speak of Liberation Day, you're going to break free. You're only going to be liberated from money from your pocket. Liberation Day is really nothing else other than tax day. Talk about double speak. Now, let's be clear. If at this point you don't understand that tariffs are a tax passed on to the consumers, then I don't know what to tell you. I understand you might be headfirst into Trump and MAGA lover and everything else, but everything you should do should be to help your situation. It's just that simple. So if you think paying more for stuff is patriotic, I don't know what to tell you because it's really not. Um, if it is, then shouldn't billionaires be paying more so they can be more patriotic than us? Yeah. But you see, that's where the critical thinking comes in and people get confused and then it doesn't work that way. So it's not more patriotic for me to pay 25% more for a car. It just, that's not, there's no logic um, to that one. All right. Now, all we're doing, and again, it's going to be an event at the Rose Garden where he's going to say you're liberated, and this is we're going to bring in trillions and trillions. No credible economist is saying this. Peter Navarro is not a credible economist. That is well documented. All his economic theories had never been peer reviewed. Yeah, he's wrote plenty of books on it, but top economists do not believe what he has to say. Now, when it comes to the recession, which seems unavoidable at this point for this year, I've written about that. I'll see if I put the link in the description below. You have the top economist for JP Morgan Chase saying the chances of the economy are 40%. I forgot someone else said 50%. Goldman Sachs is saying we're at 35%. I'll be clear. There's no difference between 35 and 40%. That's it. Now we're just arguing what is the actual figure. They're not arguing that we're not going to get into one. They're just arguing, well, it's going to be a 35 or a 40% chance. Those are not good odds, right? So this is why I keep saying we need to be prepared. Now, being prepared means being informed. And so if you're going to fall into the double speak or Orwellian speak of, you know, taxes are tariffs are passed on to the importer or exporter, no, it's not. You pay for that. If you're going to fall into patriotic, it's patriotic to pay more for things, then that falls on you. I saw someone the other day, I read the article, so I forgot her name, on Fox, who said, we know that the 401ks have tanked. We've got to look at this as this is like a time of war that we're going to be sacrificing for the greater good. Now, this, goes back in time where, let's say even women working in the workforce to try to, boost up the economy and everything else. The problem is we're not at war. Trump likes to use that term loosely, and that's why he might do the Insurrection Act. We'll find out April 20th. That's, look it up. April 20th, apparently his cabinet's going to decide if the Insurrection Act should be implemented. And if that is, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but if it's not martial law, then I don't know what is. And chances are it's going to be martial law only in blue towns, blue cities, and blue states. So if that's where we get, I don't know what the conclusion is going to be, but it ain't going to be nice. But anyway, this thing about if you're close to retirement or you're in retirement and now your 401k has tanked, to say that it's patriotic that we're at a time of war. Yeah, 70-year-olds don't go to war. That's it. It's just that simple. So someone who's worked hard their whole life, we're talking someone who's 70 and collecting from their IRA or 401k, to now spit in their face and tell them, well, this is like being patriotic. It's like we're making sacrifices for war. They're way past their war fighting age, right? And again, their entire retirement has gone down the toilet. What options do you have at 70 for work, especially if you've been retired for a few years? I'd like to know. Please tell me what they are. There's zero. It could mean losing their home, losing their car, filing for bankruptcy. That's why the term, because people are outliving their savings and everything else, is called the graying of bankruptcy, right? Where our silver-haired folks are the ones that are filing for bankruptcy at record numbers. So again, this patriotism to be broke, then why don't all the rich people give away their money? All of it, and just get down to the same income bracket that we are at, because they're not stupid. And so to think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to call you stupid, but yeah, it's pretty much down those lines. And that's why I say you have to be informed. It's just that simple. Just because Trump says it's Liberation Day, we're going to be liberated and we're going to get rid of the IRS, and people are going to get all excited. Oh, get rid of the IRS. I don't have to pay taxes anymore. Common sense. That's all I could tell you. All right. So today is actually a sad day in history, right? Kind of almost canceling out what Cory Booker did yesterday. The highs and the lows. That's what we're going to be experiencing. What we're experiencing, by the way, it hasn't hit us yet, right? Those of us in the private sector, we're probably okay right now. But talk to those who work for the federal government, all those people that have lost their jobs. Now, you have those people that have lost their jobs. That's going to hit where they live, right? There's going to be less revenue coming into those businesses, right? So that's going to be an immediate effect there, right? Remember, 200,000 federal probation officers were fired or employees were fired. If they got their job back, I don't know. There's 600 million cases going on. So if they got a court order yesterday or something, I apologize for not knowing. But, you know, it is what it is. It's hard to keep up. But they're feeling it. When are we going to feel it? It'll take time. These tariffs are one step closer to you feeling that economic pinch, right? The Department of Education, there's a perfect example. They provide funding, at the state and local level, et cetera, which averages out to 11% per district. Now, of course, it could be more, it could be less, depending on the district. But if 11% of revenue is lost in a district, where do they get that money back? They pretty much don't. So they have to make cuts. And those cuts means people are going to get fired, or they're going to raise taxes, or do a combination of both. And so what ends up happening is you're going to get nickel and dime to death. And I've said that before. I see Florida making those moves now with the nickel and diming. Florida is passing or trying to pass those laws that teenagers can even work overnight. And I think even without a lunch break or something. What is this for? Oh, to compensate for the undocumented immigrants or the immigrants who have not, received their citizenship, who have been deported. That's how they make up for it. Jacksonville, I know Duval County is increasing the cost of the utilities. Florida is trying to pass a law where you have to have license plates in the front. Why do we need license plates in the front all of a sudden? I know why, because it's another way to generate revenue. It's another way for the states to get prepared for what is coming financially. So you will be nickel and dime to death. Now, the problem is if you're paying for more and you're getting nickel and dime from death on a city, county, or state level, and you're paying for more products, how do you make up that difference? So just to make up an arbitrary number, if things cost you $200 more per month, right? Where are you going to get the extra $2,400 per year to make up the difference? If you don't, you end up $2,400 more in debt. If this continues for the next 4 years, now you're creeping into $10,000 more in debt that you got. And the question is, can you get out of it? This is why I keep saying you need to be prepared. This might mean making cuts, personally. Where can you make cuts? If your income isn't going to go up, which isn't likely, where can you cut enough, and enough to at least limit the damage? That's all you can do at this point. Again, you have the top economists in the world, the top firms, the top financial firms saying we are going into a recession. It seems unavoidable. This tariff, Liberation Day, does not help. Doesn't help. Anybody who says otherwise is completely naive or has drank the Kool-Aid or has their own agenda as to why they are saying that. It's not based on any financial reality. All right? So today is a sad day in history with Liberation Day. I'll put it to you this way in closing. What do you think was one of the causes that led to the Great Depression? A Liberation Day. When it was taxed the hell out of every other country and hit them with tariffs, right? This isolationism, that's what led to that. Now, we're just talking about a recession at this point because we don't know how far this can go. But I can tell you we're going to get past the Great Recession of 2008 with the mortgage foreclosure crisis if things don't stop. It's just that simple. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Just a 35% Goldman Sachs, 40% JP Morgan Chase. Those are the numbers they're throwing out there now. Like I said, 35, 40%, same difference, right? But if nothing changes, then we don't move from a recession. We start moving into a Great Recession or worse. So again, I hate to be gloom and doom. It is not my thing, but look around you. You have people that are losing their jobs. You have people whose retirements have been tanked, right? It doesn't matter if your retirement fund is tanked and you're 35 years old. You have more than enough time for that to double, triple, quadruple, and you'll be fine. But when you're 60 and you're looking at your watch saying, I got the counter down, Maybe even put an app on your phone saying, I retire on this day. You have to reset that timer. If you were 65 and you went from X amount to, you know, whatever amount you're at now, since it was trillions that was lost in the stock market, your retirement is gone. And with that could mean other things. It could mean sell the house and start making major financial changes. So keep that in mind. We're not on track to do anything positive financially. All right. So with all that, I got to enjoy my cup of coffee. I'm somewhat back, somewhat getting over this sinus infection. So time to go to work. Take care, everybody. Please. I know sometimes it's difficult to hear these things, right? But it's like when I was practicing law, I would tell clients, what do you want me to do? You want me to lie to you? I tell clients all the time, I'll lie to you if you want. I go, I'll tell you the first the truth and then I'll lie to you because ethically I'm obligated to tell you the truth. And clients were like, yeah, but I'll say, okay, I'll tell you what. What if I was a doctor and you've got 2 months left to live? Do you want me just to pretend you're healthy and you'll live another 20 years? Or do you want the doctor to tell you you've got 2 months left to live? They always said the doctor needs to be honest. I said, this is no different. And so these videos, it's no different. We have to hear the truth. We have to be prepared. Ain't nobody got your back. You can only have your own back. All right? You're the only one that can protect yourself. You're the only one that has your own self-interest involved. It's not the government. It's not the Trump administration who's just feeding you lies. So you have to be prepared. All right? I hope at the end of the year you're all prepared. And if anything, if there is a recession, you said, hey, I saved money. I cut on my expenses. I'm good. So again, I have to be brutally honest. It is what it is. Don't shoot the messenger. All right? Take care. Enjoy your coffee. Spike it if you have to. And I'll catch you at the next video. Take care.